All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So thank you for those that have watched not only this entire journey, but the finale of the video that I posted yesterday. And everybody has been so kind with their comments and their feedback. And it just truly is a special time for me to be able to share that and all of these moments with you. So with that said, I'm running on adrenaline right now. I just downloaded the intermission DLC, so I'm going to get going on that relatively soon, hopefully in the next day or two. But I wanted to revisit some of the music of the Final Fantasy VII Remake because the music elevated this game in such a drastic way. It's subtle. If you don't kind of realize what's happening with the music itself, you can miss it. But it really does make a dramatic difference. All right, so with that said, we are going to jump into some of this music. And I have to revisit it. I know I can replay the chapters and the chapter select or whatever, but some of these, going by the titles, they're not really leading me to know where they're coming from. I might play some of these and not even recognize exactly when it was played, but that's what you're here for. That's the fun part. You're going to know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into it. The first one is going to be Black Feather, and that name just gives me the heebie-jeebies. How many times do we see Black Feathers fall in this game? And we know who that is from. Sephiroth. That was kind of creepy. All right, so let's play this. It's not too long. So ominous. Just whoa, you can just see Sephiroth rise above it all. Oh, it's so cool. All right, let's play the next one. The Bombing Mission, Infiltration. So let's just play it and let it ride. We're just going to play a little bit of it. The Bombing Mission, Infiltration. So that's when the whole team was together. They were trying to come up with this plan. They were trying to get into the building to plant the bomb, and it was just a crazy time. Avalanche was being looked down upon, and so many epic moments. It's just something special about this music. Obviously, music in other games, soundtracks make a huge difference, but in this one, it just nailed it. It really did. All right, cool. Let's play the next one. Next one is Fall to the Slums. Let's play it. Pretty good. So I don't know exactly when that was played. Fall to the Slums obviously is referring to the slums in the game. I don't know if it was early on in the game or maybe after the plate fell. I'm not really sure. But let's play the next one. Let's go from there. Next one is Fleeing the Church. So the church scene itself with Aerith was a pretty powerful scene. The yellow flowers, or the flowers, were in the church, and that's when we were first introduced to Reno. And Aerith kind of doesn't make it known yet because it was later on with Rude, but seems like she needed Cloud at the time to sort of be the bodyguard or help her out. And we got to see a lot from Cloud in the scene that unfolded after it opened up with the church. So let's just play this quickly, a little bit of it. The voice and the background's phenomenal. Really good stuff. I would like to know more about the music specifically. So I think that's a fun thing for me to kind of research the soundtrack and kind of learn the ins and outs of kind of what they were going for, what the thought process was. I think that would be kind of a fun thing to do. So leave me some thoughts if you know anything about this one. It's called Fleeing the Church. All right, next one. Next one is called The Airbuster. So the Airbuster is one of the most difficult bosses in this game. And that fight was so difficult. I remember the first time I actually beat it on my first try, I think, on normal difficulty. But the Airbuster, given the amount of limited space that you have, you're kind of like on the rafters at one point or most of the fight. Airbuster's in the middle. It becomes a ranged attack fight. Barrett is huge in that fight. And I think I was down to I had to use a lot of Phoenix Downs in this fight. But the Airbuster is this huge, monstrous spectacle of a boss. And you actually have some say during that mission to remove some of the components, which I thought was a fabulous idea and mechanic. And it was just a brutal fight. It was a long fight. It was one of the longest fights that I had in this game specifically. So let's listen to the Airbuster. Yeah, it's a rock battle for sure. Love it. This is good. Yeah, this is good right here. Oh, it just brings back the memories. It was like, it was crazy. There was a lot of me slowing down time to try to get everything in order. I was really, not that I was any good at the end, but I wasn't that good during that fight. It was early on in the game, and it was like the first major test of a boss fight. It's kind of like old school. Yeah, good stuff. Leave me some thoughts on this one specifically, or even just the boss fight. All right, next one is called Rude Arrives. So I remember that specifically. The first time that Rude made the appearance, we were walking down that alleyway going towards the Aiths house, and all of a sudden Rude was just there on the ground and pops up and obviously recognizes Aerith and clearly has a thing for Aerith and does not like Cloud, asking questions about Cloud, and then a battle ensues, and that was an extremely tough fight as well. I think wind was a major component in that one we had to use, but that was a tough fight. That was not a first try type of fight. I think it took a few tries. So let's play it. Rude Arrives. It's pretty powerful stuff here. I wish I had a music background so I could talk about kind of the instruments and the sounds, but I don't at all. I can appreciate good music, but I don't have any background whatsoever or any, I can't say much about it. No qualifications to talk music. All right, that was Rude Arrives. All right, the next one is, I just hate this guy. I hate him so much. And I hate to say that, right? But I do. Don Corneo. So Don Corneo to me was like this wimp of a villain. He hid behind being just a terrible person. He's in his mansion. He has all his lackeys doing everything for him. and he's just gross. Just kind of gross, right? So we're going to play a song, and it is called Cornos Mansion Lightheaded. Let me know your thoughts on Don Corneo, because I have a ton more. It sounds like clown music, doesn't it? It does. It's kind of nice, though. I can just picture the Corneo Mansion with all those colors, like the reds and the purples and the golds, and it's just like, it just kind of disgusts me. Like, it really does. And I wish we could fight Don Corneo in this game. I will always think that. Anyways, Corneo's Mansion, Lightheaded. Let's go to the next one. All right, the next one is Let the Battles Begin, a Merc's Job. Let's play it. Iconic, yeah. I mean, this one I recognized right away. Right away. During all the battles, or a lot of the battles, this was playing. And it got you pumped up. It's got the old school vibe, makes you feel like you're playing an older game. But the music hits, it hits hard, and it sticks. Yeah, it's nice. And it's like, when I hear this, I for some reason think about the first time that Cloud is jumping off that train and he's called a merc, right? Barrett calls him a merc. This kind of reminds me of that for whatever reason. All right, moving on. All right, so I'm going to play two more. So the next one is going to be the Whispers Attack. And the Whispers to me were obviously this enigma. They were this unknown element of specter, a ghost that I didn't know what it was. I try to come up with a theory of what I thought it was, and it was not even close to that. I'm glad that was answered in this game, and I actually really like the Whispers. I think it's a cool concept, but without knowledge of the OG, you know, I really don't have much to go on. So let's just play this one. It's called The Whispers Attack. Nice. Yeah. I can just picture an actual composer. Just, yeah, it's amazing. This one, it's getting me amped up a little bit. I like this one. Yeah, this is perfect. All right, drop a comment. Moving on. All right, so the last one that we're going to play in this video, there's plenty more. So if you do like this, let me know, and I can do more of these and listen to them, and actually probably do some more talking and discussion about the game itself, and kind of about the music and how it hits and kind of ties into my experience. But anyways, the last one is going to be Aiths House. And Aiths House reminds me of kind of like the Shire for whatever reason. It's like that peaceful, green, quaint, beautiful area. It just seems like nothing bad can happen there. It's serene. It seems protected. It's just somewhere you would want to be. You would feel safe. You would feel confident in where you were. And every time that I saw Aiths House, that any scenes happen at Aiths House, even just going to pick flowers with Aerith and Cloud was peaceful. And it was enjoyable. It was nice. And I loved every second of it. There were so many nice colors. They were vibrant. They were beautiful. And it's just powerful. It's powerful in a different way. So we're going to play Aiths House here. Here we go. Just for a little bit. On the piano. in Aiths House, I see her mom. I see the flashback to kind of her relationship when she was little. Some of those scenes with her mom. And I also see Marlene. I see Marlene at this house. And it's almost like an expression of love, right? It's, like I said, a place of serenity. And just seems like all positive, happy. I don't know. It's just a beautiful place. It really is. And I think it makes this game even more special. Fantastic. All right, so we will end on that note. Just something different. I wanted to hear some of the music. I really did. I wanted to go back and hear it without going back to play it yet, because I just finished the game yesterday. But let me know your thoughts on the music. I'm sure there's a ton of things that we could discuss about the music that I could learn, because I want to know all about this game, the ins and outs, and not just playing it. And, I'm here for the story and the lore. The music ties into all of that. It's part of the experience, part of the journey. So I appreciate you following along and being here. And until next time, see ya. Like, this is different than anything I'm used to, for sure. And there's just something peaceful about all of it. Even
which ones do you think we should pick?
the high stress situations.
Oh, don't be like that. I know you have an eye for this kind of thing.